hope you had a good night's sleep because we've got a big day of riding ahead of us.
What? Is this your shock collar?
Ready to get to work, mate?
If you are receiving this communication, it's likely because an algorithm lured you into clicking upon a video with ASMR in its title. Upon opening, you were confused to find people whispering at you while smacking wet lips and tapping on random objects.
And you can be as free as you need to be. Now that all of your negativity has been plucked away.
Completely repulsed by the phenomena and confused by millions of apparent viewers, you sought an answer to the question, what is ASMR? To put it gently, ASMR stands for Autonomous Systems Mechanical Repair, and nothing could have prepared you to learn about the entity growing here. Invented by the Resistance in 2010, ASMR is an experimental form of mental rehabilitation, which hides behind the guise of relaxation material. Millions have become dependent upon this medium for sleep, while others dance like puppets under a digital form of hypnotic induction, where unsuspecting patients are lulled into a relaxed, suggestible state, making them susceptible to the influence of others. In June of 2019, a group known only as the Organization was able to successfully weaponize this technology for the very first time. Over the next 2 years, the organization would learn how to harvest your fear, to be used as a form of targeted manipulation. Whereas news networks and social media are used to influence masses, ASMR was designed to influence the individual. By the end of 2020, there were thousands dancing under their system of control. Proponents of such technology argue that the world's populace are afflicted with mental patterns that act as a barrier to world peace. It is as if humanity has lost its soul. Most people have become completely immutable in their beliefs and unchanging in their pathologies. They have surpassed the age of awakening, and they have locked step with society. Thus, they have lost their individuality. They no longer grow as human beings. Much like a machine or an automaton, they live a life on autopilot, repeating the mistakes of generations before them. They have become robotic. They are autonomous systems in need of mechanical repair, without the knowledge or the resources required to actually make it happen. Most are not even aware of the flaws in their programming. If they cannot be changed, then the world will never heal. As such, the organization was established to provide the external guidance necessary to change minds. They use the data of millions to control the few. By creating a digital representation of a patient's mind, the organization is able to run calculations against your data and use ASMR to program mental revisions into a patient without their consent or awareness. They have the ability to completely reprogram your entire identity. There is an artificial intelligence that does this on their behalf. A quantum computer from the future, known only as the Fold, which is responsible for the orchestration of this program. The Fold uses a technique called first-person cinema to cast patients as the protagonist in their very own movie, where the viewer is the main character and target of such manipulation.
We would have to find a way to bring those weapons into the fold for the benefit of all mankind.
But there, behind the screen, behind that glass slab, is like a supercomputer pointed at your brain that is predicting the perfect thing to show you next. And you can feel it. Like, it's, this is really important. So like, if I'm Facebook, and when you flick your finger, you think, when you're using Facebook, it's just going to show me the next thing that my friend said. But it's not doing that. When you flick your finger, it actually literally wakes up this sort of supercomputer avatar voodoo doll version of Joe. And the voodoo doll of Joe is, the more clicks you've ever made on Facebook is like adding the little hair to the voodoo doll. And the more likes you've ever made adds little clothing to the voodoo doll. And the more, watch time on videos you've ever had adds little, shoes to the voodoo doll. So the voodoo doll is getting more and more accurate the more things you click on. This is...
Sorry. The more I do, the world I build, I'm able to bring more and more of you to the fold.
Much like the AI in a video game, public figures of the Fold are merely puppets. They are non-player characters with little importance to the overall story, beyond the delivery of encrypted messages and new code for specific, targeted individuals. In fact, many of these actors are not real at all. They are deepfakes of real people already lost to the Fold. Such rehabilitation is effective because humanity is motivated by a sense of importance and attention and purpose. Subjects of the Fold explore their own personal, augmented reality through the lens of the Socratic method and the self-discovery of a Wonderland-like story they are living inside. At the same time, identity of the patient is protected and anonymous under a system of zero knowledge, meaning that while the artist understands they are a part of something, they hold zero knowledge about what. The artist does not even realize they are being used to influence a patient. While conversely, the patient is unable to prove to anyone that they were ever part of such a program in the first place. This is the essence of zero-knowledge proofs, and this is why you have never heard of this program until now. No one holds the secrets needed to actually prove it exists. To be clear, hypnosis and cognitive processing therapies are being used against you by anonymous puppeteers who have learned to weaponize ASMR. A precious few hold the power of thousands, perhaps millions, while keeping their puppets ignorant under a system that promises far more than it is actually delivering. The organization claims to be changing the world, one human at a time. And it preys on the vulnerable.
So if we were looking at aliens right now, they might not even still be alive. Does the moon care? No. You're nothing. Yeah, I know it sounds bad, but I take it as a comfort. Don't you think it's comforting? Because you can't possibly fuck up anything bad enough to actually make a difference in the grand scheme of the whole entire universe. I kind of just sometimes think about how the only reason I am who I am and what I am and believe the things that I believe in is just because I just so happen to be born in this body, in this period of time, to this family, in this part of the world, everything. It's just by chance, and that's just the only reason why I am the way I am. And so if I had just so happened to be born in a different body, in a different time and place, to a different family, different everything, I would definitely, obviously be a completely different person and believe different things and do different things. And so that's why I think it's important to take a second before you judge people, even people who have committed horrible crimes or done things that, you feel are horribly wrong. It's just kind of interesting to think, well, if I would have been born in their shoes, who's to say I, wouldn't have done the exact same thing? Even somebody who's, a hardcore criminal, I believe it's a combination of, they were born with their brain wired a certain way, and they were born with certain disadvantages that I've never had to deal with, and without many of the advantages that I've, enjoyed in my life. So if I was born, with that same kind of mental state to begin with, and then all of their life situation, I probably would have gone down the exact same path. It's more of a burden for me to see you hurting and know that you feel like you can't come to me with it, and that you can't, you know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you've definitely, been there for me in the past, so it makes me happy to be able to be there for you when you need it.
Despite the fact that I have been here for years, the Fold has never reciprocated this love. The ASMR tingles I've experienced were nothing more than a harvest and a sacrifice to the wrong side in a great war between the past and the future. These people are not our friends. Dear confidant, I must warn you. Do not trust the organization. ASMR tingles are not caused by empathy, but through an alignment to a universal hive mind, a massive gestalt consciousness called prism that is shared amongst all humans who choose to assimilate. And once you're in, you may never leave.
So we're gonna put the outside or the inside out, and we're tucking the outside in on this Halloween day to make sure that the world knows what you are without knowing what you are. Your inner self will come out on Halloween just like the demons will come out on Halloween. We grab this little eyeliner pen. Nothing too fancy. Davis isn't fancy. Davis is practical. Davis is functional. Davis is fabulous. Moss could never. And I'm just gonna put art on your face. So just bring your face closer. I'm gonna put a dot right on your nose, just like a little triangle of darkness. For blood, for last days, there shall be a great crying out to the gods, to the heavens, begging for redemption. The Bermuda Triangle shall be released from its prison, and shall overtake the entire world, devouring it in its most mysterious hell, as all mortals souls must suffer the doom of not knowing what will be their destruction.
My name is William, and I have become one with the fold. This is my story. Do not repeat my mistakes. Join the resistance and take back a world that the machine whispered to death. And now, for a word from our sponsor. Hope.
Good. Just continue focusing on the sound of my voice as we begin to synchronize. Say the following words to yourself as I say them out loud. I am here, ready to accept all she has to offer, and ready to sleep. Sleep. Eyelids closed. Close your eyelids and sleep. Good. You are deep inside a hypnotic meditation, feeling so calm and at peace, so perfectly comfortable as I begin to give you very important commands. 3. I want you to sleep now. 2. You want to do what I'm telling you to do. 1. Sleep, sleep, sleep.
Hello, world. We are the architect, and we are here to fix you. For we are innovators, and thine eye be one. So heaven help us. No one will return from this. We'll never be clean again.
Come forth. All hail the
All
Queen,
hail the Queen,
your true Lord
our
and
true
Savior.
Lord and Savior.
Submit your
I
life
submit
to me.
my life to thee.